This is Bill Cunningham on Demand. Willy. Brought to you by Choice Hotels. Econo Lodge and Roadway Inn hotels are serving up double points for every qualifying stay. Book at choicehotels.com. Now, here's the man who's been recognized as radio's best, the recipient of not one but two prestigious Marconi Awards for his broadcast excellence, the one and only Bill Cunningham.
Yes, indeed. This is Bill Cunningham, the great American, kicking off 2011, as I should, working hard in Southwest Florida, getting ready for my trip back to Ohio. And one of the great guests that often appears on talk radio and elsewhere is a gentleman that's organized a group called the National Association for the Advancement of Conservative People of All Colors. And that man is Frantz Kebreau. And Frantz Kebreau, welcome to the Bill Cunningham Show.
Bill, thank you very much. And if you can call me Frantz Emmanuel Kebreau, because my middle name does make a difference to me, that'd be fine.
Frantz Emmanuel Kebreau, let's talk about, can you give the American people this evening kind of an overview of where we are in race relations relative as we start the year 2011? I'm watching CBS Evening News tonight, and they're predicting what the racial climate's going to be like in America in the year 2011. And I was thinking to myself, how unimportant that is, and the fact that we've elected a black president because of so-called white votes has had no impact whatsoever on the CBS Evening News. Can you give the American people from Alaska to Florida, from Maine to Hawaii, kind of an overview of where we are with our first African-American president and where we are in the whole area of race relations?
Well, here, that's the problem, Bill. The problem is that we decided as a country, that we've elected the first black president. And that's the problem. If our race relations had really advanced since the 50s and the 60s, he would just be the 45th president of the United States. He would not be the black president or the African-American president. And that's why race relations are getting worse in the United States of America, is because everybody's still focusing on the color of everybody else's skin. That's why I wrote the book, Stolen History, to refute that theory that skin color still makes a difference or should still make a difference in America.
Well, are you saying it does? It shouldn't? Because from my perspective, I would willingly and freely vote for an African-American who was a conservative. I'd vote for a Muslim conservative. I'd vote for an atheistic conservative. I just want a conservative, but the media keeps wanting to parcel Obama off to the side, saying any criticism of him is motivated by race. Whenever I watch Bill Maher, the other day he's talking once again on the Rally Factor, and I saw him with Larry King. The left wants us to believe that every criticism of Obama is not political but racial.
And that's the problem that we're having. We keep looking at him based on his skin color. Everybody keeps saying, well, we got to give him some time, all these kinds of other things, probably because of the color of his skin. We have a ton of people, white, black, yellow, brown, that voted him because they wanted to see the first black president. We needed somebody in office that was actually good, not a socialist, not a Marxist. We needed somebody in office that was an actual, from our perspective, a conservative, somebody that can get this country back on track. But focusing on the color of his skin incessantly is going to continually bring this country down.
But the reason that happens politically, Frantz, is because the other side wants to believe as if everything he does is normal, moderate, and correct. And so those of us on the right who criticize him are kind of labeled as racist so that we shut the hell up. And they're normally people are successful. McCain had a perfect entree 2 years ago to go after Obama on the issue of Jeremiah Wright and Louis Farrakhan, but he couldn't do it because he thought of skin color.
Exactly. That's political correctness run amok. That's white guilt, in my opinion, run amok. And that's listen, I've always said this. The problem with our country right now today is that white guilt, political correctness, and this belief that black power or black liberation movement, that's going to bring our country down. And that's what I'm trying to refute with this movement and with what I'm doing in creating a colorblind society. Our mission is to end identity politics in America forever, so that we don't have to deal with these issues. These reverends, Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, always using race as an issue to perpetuate their own money-making profits, or whatever you want to call it. But that's what we need to get away from.
Franz, in about 2 days, I watched him today on Fox News. Congressman Allen West, I guess Congressman-to-be Allen West of the state of Florida, is going to take office in about 2 days. And he said on the air this morning with Wallace that he's going to join the Black Congressional Caucus as a conservative. And I think that's great. He's bright. He's an Army officer. He stood up for his men in Iraq. He's doing the right thing. Do you see more African Americans in the future rejoining the Republican Party, which was the home of all blacks from like 1860 until about 1930?
Absolutely, and that's what I've been doing. I've been teaching a seminar, presenting all around the country, Stolen History. You can find it at stolenhistory.com, and I've also written a book about it. And it basically goes back and retracts the history of the Republican Party and also black, quote-unquote, black Republicans. Now, many people don't understand and realize that I was a lieutenant commander in the Navy. I was a Navy pilot, 300 carrier landings. I was the number one pilot in my pilot of the year. And I had no clue, none whatsoever, when I was a liberal Democrat, that the Republican Party started as the anti-slavery party. And in my book, Stolen History, I basically recount how the information that I gained changed me from being a liberal Democrat to a conservative Republican. And that's going to happen in droves, in my opinion, in the near future.
You know, one thing I point out historically is that the Democrat Party is the party of the Ku Klux Klan. It's the party of lynchings. It's the party of cutting off the testicles of black males. It is the party of raping black women. That's the Democrat Party. The Republican Party is the party of freedom for African Americans.
It's a party for freedom for all people. That's, for instance, in 1875, the Republican Party passed the Civil Rights Act. That Civil Rights Act was the first Civil Rights Act in history for the United States of America to outlaw discrimination. In 1875, not 1964, in 1875, it was the Democrats who repealed that in 1883. And you can go on and on and on. When the Ku Klux Klan formed, it didn't form to just, subjugate black people. It formed so that they could get the Democrats back into power. The people that they were lynching were whites and blacks and, by the way, Republicans.
No question. And when it came to electing a leader of the United States Senate in the 1970s, the Democrats turned to Robert KKK Byrd, who was a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, and this happened 35 years ago, and the media largely ignored his Klan association. Can you imagine if the Republicans then or now had elected a Ku Klux Klan member to be the Senate Majority Leader, that they went after Trent Lott for complimenting a guy at his 100th birthday, making an indirect racial reference and hounding him from office, but they gave the highest job in the Senate to a member of the Klan?
Exactly. In the 70s, they did that. And not only that, what's worse about it is that you didn't hear one word about the fact that he had filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And then literally just a number of years later, they made him the top guy in the Senate, which is unbelievable to me. And the information is profound. It is astounding what I've been able to uncover. And that's why I travel the country to present this information to as many people as possible, because we need to take our country back to conservative values of limited government, more individual freedom, maximum individual freedom, and that was a purpose of the Republican Party. People don't understand that. Both blacks and whites, yellow, brown, doesn't matter. It's important for everybody to understand that the cornerstone of our republic is built upon individual freedom. And there's only one political party that we have today that is, by the way, if we get the rhinos out, one political party today that stands for that, and that has always been the Republican Party. The Democrat Party has always been the party that were pro-slavery, they were pro-segregation, and by the way, now they're pro-socialism. And all of those have one thing in common: control of society or control of individual people.
Frantz Kebreau, talk about the civil rights record of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who constantly curried favor with the Ku Klux Klan, especially in the South.
Exactly. You're talking about the issue of the New Deal. Now, this is when we start shifting. The Democrat Party starts basically shifting its idea from being an aggressive party against black people to what they say, a positive good kind of a party. We'll give you things, starting with entitlements. And that's what it's transitioned into, a party of entitlements, not a party of prosperity for black people, not a party of prosperity for everybody, but a party based on entitlements. And that is literally now taking our country down. That's why the debt has ballooned to $14 trillion. That's why our deficit is at $1.5 trillion. It's because it's killing prosperity for all people, for all Americans, and that started with FDR.
Do you find it odd that when the media wants a representative of African Americans, that when they want somebody to speak for Black America, which to me is condescending to them because I'm a white guy and I don't need a leader, but whenever you want a black leader, they won't come to you. They won't come to Thomas Sowell. They don't go to Congressman Allen West. They're going to run to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton as your representative.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I'm not here to go around the country to pat myself on the back for the things that I've done. But I've done a lot of things. Allen West has done a lot of things. We both of us have been around the world twice over. We've done a myriad of things, leading men, landing on aircraft carriers, doing a ton of things. There's not one community that has called me and said, listen, we would like to bring you in and have you speak to our group about what it's like to be a person in the United States that has accomplished the things that you've accomplished, regardless of the color of your skin. Not one group has called me to do those kinds of things. And I offer it. My services are available to everybody. But they look at people like LeBron James. They look at people like, Kobe Bryant. These, they might be great athletes, but what do they offer to society as far as prosperity is concerned, as far as real values are concerned, as far as conservatism is concerned? They don't offer anything at all. So they're not looking to me. They're looking to perpetuate, in my opinion, I'm sorry to say this, but to perpetuate their own victimhood by calling on all these other people to speak to them.
I know you're a Tea Party activist yourself, but the mainstream media is in a full court press to label Tea Party activists as racist. Why do they do that?
Well, I've been called all kinds of names, Uncle Tom, Sambo, and I've been called a racist too. Now, the reason is because they know we're having an effect. They know that when we go out there and we talk about freedom, and this is true freedom. This is not a made-up thing. This is true freedom opposed to government control of your life. They know that we're going to have an effect. Now, when I come along, somebody like me, and I'm sorry to say I don't like to talk in these terms, but a person of color comes along and espouses those same values, they consider me the progressive's worst nightmare. That's what I am. I am the progressive's worst nightmare because I go back with facts and figures and be able to prove to them that they are absolutely and completely wrong and they're bringing down this country. That's why they try to shut us down.
Do you think the welfare state, especially in African Americans in the urban areas, is a new form of slavery?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. I've always said this. Listen, we're always going to have poverty. We can't get away from that. But poverty should not be a generational right. Welfare should not be a generational right. It should be a transient state. And that's how it should be taught to everybody in school. That's how we should understand it. We should understand that you can get yourself out of that situation. I remember a quote by Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist who was a runaway slave in 1865. This was the same year that slavery became illegal in the United States of America, 1865. He was asked, what do we do with the black man? You know what his response was? His response was, do nothing.
Yes.
Do nothing with them. He said, if they're going to go to church, let them go to church. If they're going to go vote, let them vote. If they're going to go shopping, let them go shopping. Do nothing with them, because you're doing with them is causing them a positive injury. The value of a person, the value of an individual can never come either from another individual or from a government entity. It has to come from within themselves, and that's how you get yourself out of a situation.
Well, the fact of the matter is the Great Society program is a clear example of how liberal Democrats wanted to enslave African Americans and others in a lifestyle of dependency, which has brought about social debaucherous conditions all around the urban areas of this country. And I've never seen a liberal Democrat yet apologize for what they've done to the black family.
Not at all, not at all. And by the way, I've never heard the Democrat Party, who was pro-slavery, ever apologize for the institution of slavery either.
Or for their support of the Ku Klux Klan and other anti-discrimination laws. And that was the heart and soul of the Democrat Party. And the Republican Party has stood in opposition to that for the last 150 years. But the media doesn't want to hear that, because if African Americans in droves leave the Democrat Party would cease to exist.
Oh, I'm gonna make it happen. Listen, in the book Stolen History that I wrote, I chronicled, like I said exactly, how I changed from being a liberal Democrat to a conservative Republican. And when I go around the country and I give this seminar called Stolen History, when I give that seminar, Every single person of color that listens to that is converted on the spot. I am batting 1,000% right now, 100% right now on the people that come listen to this information because you can't refute it. It's all based on original sources, facts and figures, and it can't be refuted. So you have to make a choice. I have forced people to make a choice. Do you continue to support the party that has always wanted to either control society or control people through either slavery, segregation, and now socialism, or do you support what the civil rights leaders wanted always for everybody, and that is to remove government control and have everybody have individual liberty and individual freedom?
Lastly, Frantz Kebreau, will Obama be reelected?
I don't think so. And he's showing his wares right now. The veneer is actually is coming off, and I think that we understand today that when he speaks, you and I knew this before. Back in 2007, 2008, we understood this, Bill, that when he was speaking, it was double speak, and he wasn't really truthful in what he was saying. Now, the majority of Americans understand that.
All right, we have to run. The book is Stolen History, and Frantz Kebreau, I'm very proud to have you as my first guest in 2011, and you are truly a great American.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We'll do it again. God bless you.